Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Let's see. We're going to keep this kind of short. As you guys know, the battle for shorter pre-streams is continuing. Dave's piggy banks have fought back in a rather surprising sort of way. It's funny to see people really giving a lot of pushback to Dave on how the pre-streams are going, how some of the general content's going, being banned for no reason and watching other people getting banned. Not to say that any of them are watching detractors and are starting to pick up on what they're saying. Not saying any of that at all, but it is interesting on what are some of the pushing, on their pushing back, I should say, and how that's starting to translate. What else can we talk about? We can also talk about a little bit about what people would consider the cucking that's going on over there, where Swaggins is yet again pushing for all of those records that Vidal, Brightside Viking had. That should be an interesting situation in itself. As it pertains to Brightside Viking, by the way, somebody asked a couple videos ago, what is the story about him? Brightside Viking does just kind of sum it up, because he really deserves his own video, to be honest. He was Phil's go-to guy. He was Phil's sergeant in arms. He was Phil's man on the field, basically. Not only did Brightside Viking provide him financial support, and a lot of it. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of dollars a year. But also, he frontlined for Phil. Anytime there was a problem or whatnot, he did it. Now this is back in when SOK was still active. I'm not going to say still around, because they are still around. But when they were still active, he had gone on the show a couple times to defend Phil and go up against some of their actions. What you make of that is on you, or what you think about it. But he did go up there. He showed no fear doing it. He would engage against anybody, basically. And it's because of that type of, and he's been doing that for years, by the way. So this isn't something new. And it's because of those type of actions is what led to Blood for the Blood God. That goes back to the bloodletting saga, which happened earlier this year, when basically Brightside Viking, went to war with Kiwi Farms, and which led to the King of Hate vlogs to get exposed. All these people could have been doxxed. It was a whole mess, but all of that kind of originates back to Brightside Viking. But then again, that's Brightside trying to defend Phil. The interesting thing about all that is he's still over there on Kiwi Farms right now. They kind of just, they let bygones be bygones, essentially, or at least that's what it seems like. And you can catch him up over there at any given time and whatnot. He actually, some of his posts are actually rather insightful when he speaks on Dave. So if you guys ever get a chance, you guys should really go over there, to be honest. But after the bloodletting saga, that leads to what I would call the great betrayal, when Phil drops Brightside Viking over this whole situation so he doesn't lose Twitch. Which, if you look at it now in hindsight, he wouldn't have lost Brightside Viking anyway. This is just another example of Phil dropping something immediately because he was scared of a consequence that he couldn't even see. You know what I mean? Like, Phil did the same thing when it comes to the pre-streams, when he got that copyright strike, and then all of a sudden 600 videos, 300 or 400 pre-streams all of a sudden disappeared. He either deletes them. Some people said he privated them. A lot of people think he deleted them, and then 3 million views just are gone off YouTube. It's just impulsive behavior for impulsive sake. That's just kind of how Phil is. So when he talks about all this stuff about detractor this, detractor that, I don't think anybody who was behind that that whole false copyright situation with the pre-streams, with the fan art, would ever have expected Dave to do that. Like, he went off on the handle all on his own. So, and then from there, it just established a pattern of how he acts. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, we're here for Snort Burnell, DSP Gaming. Salty, salty answers to cheers. Should be interesting, I would hope. But it's Snort Burnell, so of course it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on at GTG Network and Productions. Shouts out to Mr. Stuffs that you see in the corner there, who has provided us with this amazing failure on Dave's part in his epic battle against Luigi. Absolutely amazing. I've been wanting to try to test something like this out, so we'll see how it goes. You won't get any sound from that. I think his failure is enough, to be honest with you. Well, anyway, you guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work. Yay.
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude.
And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting.
Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Shout outs! Okay, shout out to Third Eye the Third, who cheered. He says, I saw people on the internet trying to make money off your image. Someone has a blanket with your face on it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, look how horrifying that is. Seriously. It looks like your child or your significant other, or maybe even yourself, is being consumed by Phil. Actually, you know what that reminds me of? Because I was just watching James the Lesser Express Lane's first live stream the other night. You should check it out, by the way. It's a great live stream. He's absolutely hilarious. And they were talking about old movies and stuff like that. I can't remember what Friday the 13th it was. No. What Nightmare on Elm Street it was. I can't remember which one it was. But it's the one where Freddy turns into like this giant, almost like a giant worm or something, and he actually consumes that girl like bit by bit. That's what that shit reminds me of. That shit's absolutely horrifying. Horrifying. At the same time, though, too, I wouldn't be mad if anybody bought it. That shit might be worth something someday. Maybe. But that's scary. That's scary as hell. And look at that little. And see, the funny thing is, right, is most people are wondering, oh, is that a bald spot on his beard, or is that just gray hair? Could be both. It's very pronounced there. It's very pronounced there. He looked kind of like a clown, to be honest with you. You see the hair on the side, but you don't see a lot up top. That might be how he's going to start the bald, too. What are you going to do? ESP News.
If you guys ever see anything like that, if there is a way for you to report it through that business, I recommend you do. Why am I toxic?
All I can taste is the saltiness.
If not, if you want to send me information, like shoot me an email and say, hey, Phil, here's someone selling your face on a blanket on this website. Here it is. I can myself go over there and check it out. And if it's true, I could take care of it. There were a few people on Teespring a year ago who were selling shirts with my face on it without my permission. And of course, it was a negative thing. It was a negative meme, so I got rid of it.
Salt, 90% of the time.
And Teespring immediately took it down and said, thank you for letting us know we don't want this kind of crap on our site. So if you guys ever see anything like that, and you can report it yourselves, go right ahead. But if not, send it my way, and I'll give it a look, okay?
All right, random.
Now, here's the thing. He can't stop all those. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he can't stop. Now, on Teespring is one thing. But if they're going through another one of these sites, and there are plenty of other ones. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and talk about that for a minute. I don't know why Phil chose Teespring, but there are way better sites out there that you can go to that are certainly much cheaper, with better quality, arguably, that Phil could go through. And they would let him have he has multiple designs, as you know, but they actually have, like, in-house designers where he just expresses his idea, or he'll do what he's known for and taking the ideas of the people in his cult, and they'll actually do it for him. and they'll send him samples, and he can choose which one he wants, and they can go from there. To be honest, it would. I mean, just a piece of advice as it pertains to the whole blanket situation. If I had to guess, and to be honest, that's what Phil should do. He should try to contact those people directly and be like, "Hey, can we work out a deal?" To be honest, all behind the scenes, he doesn't have to make that shit public, but behind the scenes, he should try to work out some type of deal for that. Be like, "Hey, can you cut me in on a percentage or something along those lines?" Now, Phil won't do that. Well, Phil might do that, but the thing is, he won't do it right. He's gonna want like 70% of it because he's an idiot, obviously. Instead of taking maybe 30%, going on his pre-streams and being like, "Yeah, these guys are doing this, I can't do anything about it, and it's kind of shitty," and he produces the negativity because that's all he's good for, which would drive up sales, being like, "Oh shit, Phil knows about this and he can't do nothing about it." It's a type of market manipulation that would require him to have some forethought, and he wouldn't do it. He would just be greedy and be like, "Hey, I want all the money, or I want the majority of it." You know what I mean? Kind of like that this old interview he did, or that was offered to him, and the guy was like, "Hey, would you be willing to do an interview with me?" And he's like, "Yeah, but it's going to cost you $800 for the day." What? First off, if they're going to do an interview with you, they probably don't need any more than a few hours. First off. Second off, 8 hours for the day? I'm sorry, who the hell died and made you Saddam Hussein? Or whoever. Like, you ain't important enough to pay $800 a day for an interview? What the hell is wrong with you? Especially someone like Dave who needs all the exposure he can get. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be glad someone wants to interview you. And in all honesty, the guy in particular didn't want to. It was, I guess, one of his associates who was kind of pushing for it. $800 a day to interview Darkside Phil? You better take this bag of chips and a Coke and a smile? Shit. He's not getting much outside of that. DSP News.
Those tipped me $1 and said that I live in the past and I need to move on. How can I move forward if I live in the past? I have no idea what you're even talking about. I have no idea. No one is talking about the past besides my 10-year anniversary event, which is a fun thing to do, being that I'm a 10-year-long content creator. Outside of that, no one on this pre-stream has referenced the past at all. So you may have some weird agenda for yourself.
Actually, this is ironic because the next day he brings up, or someone I should say, brought up John Rambo and Howard, and he goes on a nice little spiel about that. We'll cover that video too. Be honest with you, but that was kind of hilarious how he was bringing up the whole situation with John and how it's not his fault, and we'll get into that in that video. I don't want to ruin it for you guys because he's changed his story about that so many times, right, that it's kind of silly. And for some of you guys who are kind of new to all this, you guys may have never actually heard the David Howard response. But interestingly enough, it's funny how the amount of forethought that goes on in this newsroom. Kenny and Kevin actually put together the actual video for that. I'll put that up, I don't know, but it's coming soon and whatnot, to be honest with you. It's a long one. It's about an hour and a half, a little more, a little less. And a lot of detractors have mirrored it and put it on their channel. I'm just doing the same thing. And you guys can actually hear it for yourselves. It's a very interesting yet insightful listen, to be honest with you. Any of you guys who don't know at least the full story, they pretty much draw the majority of it out, plus or minus a couple of things. So look forward to that in the future. Yeah, keeping things super professional. But between that and his 4th place finish and on a game port that doesn't mean anything to anybody, you know what I mean? There's a couple of tweets out there where he admits it in his chat. He was chatting with somebody and they had called him out on it. They were like, "Hey man, you keep talking about the current 30th anniversary version, but isn't the version you took 4th place in inferior?" And he actually admits it. Dave's like, "Yeah, it was a bad port for its day and whatnot, so on and so forth." And I don't remember exactly, but I think he also admitted that the reason why he failed to place as high as he did or higher in future tournaments was because of the game port, to be honest with you. So everything I've seen and everything that I've kind of done my research on, Phil was a decent player, but he wasn't going to beat Daigo. He's not going to beat Justin Wong. He isn't going to beat Alex Valle. Actually, he was talking about that recently. Someone asked him would he challenge Alex Valle. He said no, because Alex Valle would sweep him up. But then he had no problem with challenging Low Tier God because, oh, well, Low Tier God isn't good at Super Turbo, but Low Tier God is okay at Third Strike. So it would be back and forth because he would win some and I would win some. Oh, so what you're saying is that you wanted to play someone in a game that you know that person doesn't really play, so you could catch some wins, so you make yourself feel good, so when you lose in Third Strike, you could either A, try to squeak out as many wins as you could, or B, you wouldn't look like a total asshole because you still have your wins for Super Turbo even after Low Tier God cleans you up. That's some bullshit. That was some bullshit, but we'll talk about that later too. Let's continue.
And I've no idea what you're referencing, but I gotta kind of scratch my head on this one. I have no idea what you're talking about. I really don't.
I know you're lying.
Alright, shout out to that douche kid who cheered and said, how much for a DSP body pillow? Asking for a friend. Ooh. Ooh. Well, I don't think that's ever gonna happen, I'm just saying. Thank goodness.
My girlfriend is obviously Papa Lou in a wig. I love you, Papa Lou. I love you.
Shout out to Lord Lamb V3. He said,
I do miss Papa Lou, by the way. I don't know whatever happened to him, but for the short time Papa Lou was with us, he was entertaining. He made Dave feel uncomfortable. He provided us with hours and hours of entertainment. Papa Lou was he was one of those diamonds in the rough. He was that mystical unicorn that we may never see again. A lot of theories on who Papa Lou was, but he was an interesting fellow while he was around. I gotta say, we miss you, Papa Lou. We miss you. DSP dudes.
if we, the patrons, vote for you to rewatch your top 10 racist end of the year moments from back in the day, would you do it? You think Twitch would have a problem with that? Quite frankly, Lord Lamb, being real with you, I think Twitch would have a problem with that. I do. If you're not aware, those videos, which, by the way, have been on the internet for 8 years now, because I put them out in I think it was late 2010. I think it was late 2010 when I released those. So you're talking 8 years ago. But YouTube demonetized, flagged them for adult content. I think one of them can't even be viewed because it was like flagged as against the community guidelines or whatever. I didn't get a strike or anything for it, but basically those videos were like blacklisted into oblivion. And it's hilarious because when I released them in 2010, no one had a problem with them. People understood the comedy, they realized that it was just jokes, and they really thought they were funny as hell. And now here we are 8 years later, and the videos are like, oh my god, the devil's spawn on YouTube. Unreal how times change, right?
Disgusting beggar. Reee!
Now, we've talked about this, and like I said, eventually I'll go. There's a racist compilation of DSP out there. I'll eventually go over that video, and you guys can kind of see it for yourself if you guys haven't. But racism isn't any better now than it was then. So for him to think that, oh, people understood it, that it was all offhanded jokes and whatnot, and I didn't mean anything by it, this, that, and the third. Yet some of those same videos that taught, with all that racism, he has all that shit hidden now. If it was okay back then go ahead and let him go up now. Yeah, they all got demonetized because your shit was just... Anyway, his shit was off the handle. It really was. And whatnot. And it's not just a matter of, now it's they police everything, and back then it was just, you could kind of get away with everything. There was a lot of shit that Dave did back then that he got shitted on. A lot of shit. Blip TV was the perfect example, which someone in his chat should have pointed that out to him and whatnot, because it's getting harder and harder for him to explain that away. It really is. And to be honest, that is what should have been. That's a video he should go over. I want him to sit there and go over that Blip TV video. What was it, Dead Space 2, and sit there and go through all the situations with that and explain and justify it. And justify, why me running around like a fake Nazi and spitting off that what is considered anti-Semitism was okay, and why it was funny. And then go ahead and try to throw it on Howard Stern, being like, oh, well, Howard Stern does it, why can't I do it? You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. This idiot right here doesn't even realize that Howard Stern has lawsuits up the ass over dumb shit that he did, that they had done almost a decade ago. He's still fighting some of that shit. You know what I mean? It doesn't go away. You know what I mean? So there's a price to being the boss. Phil doesn't understand that. There are repercussions to just about everything when it comes to dumb shit like that. Why can't you just say, you know what? I was stupid, I was insensitive, you know what, it was a fuck up. Oh, instead of, oh, well, I don't get it. You guys should, and my racism, it's racism, but it's a joke. So, you know, it's a joke. Even though, even comedians say that 50% of a joke is the truth. But whatever, it's a joke, and you guys should just be okay with my racism. Everybody else back then were. You know, the little kids back then were okay with it. Now they all grew up and they're like, well, actually, that stuff's not funny no more, Dave. Well, it was YouTube's fault, man. I don't understand why YouTube had to change all of a sudden. I don't understand it. And yet again, this goes back to, if you guys want a perfect example of him living in the past, that's him looking back at 2010 Dave and YouTube back then and being like, why isn't it like that now? Because back then, when it was just starting up, it's the Wild West and everything, where people could get away with all the dumb shit that they were getting away with. He wants it like that because he feels that he could prosper back then. He feels that he's limited. And that's why he goes on these pre-streams, and Almighty Tevin pointed it out the other night. That second pre-stream that he doesn't post when he does his evening stream, the reason why that's not posted is because that's where he gets to vent. He gets to, you know, saying, come off the cuff, so to speak, and he gets to say whatever he wants about anybody because he knows he's not going to post it. So he can go ahead and delete it. Another thing that Tevin pointed out, because I never noticed it, but then again, I don't watch his evening streams like that, is with a lot of the gameplay that goes on at night also, you'll see him on OBS pausing and starting a lot too, because he can cut out, or he can just go ahead and mute a lot of stuff that he doesn't want, and then go ahead and let everything else fly. So it's funny how this guy who doesn't do anything, doesn't say anything about anybody, he's the realest guy on YouTube. Why are you basically nerfing yourself at night? Why are you editing yourself at night? You know what I'm saying? If this is you just being honest, just like that whole Twitter situation, why are you going ahead and limiting what you're saying at night and not putting it out there? Oh, because you're scared that that's just going to get you in trouble and you're going to get exploited. All right, just wondering. Just wondering. His racism back then was no more accepted than it is now, to be honest with you. And Phil doesn't understand that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the sad part. Not the kids who grew up and moved on from it, but the fact that he never moved on from it. That he isn't man enough to just be like, you know what, I fucked up, and just move with it. It's, oh, YouTube changed, and that's why it's not acceptable. Gotcha. Gotcha.
So, no, sadly, I don't think those videos would be able to be, used for the event. As I said, the preface of the event, the 10 Years of Rage event, would be a video that is currently watchable right now. Because, any videos that already of mine have been taken down or whatever, no, those would not be eligible. And I'm certainly not going to prod the hornet's nest when it comes to Twitch terms of service and start putting out, videos from how long ago that already were taken down or, censored or whatever. I'm not going to be doing that kind of content, okay? Random goes to me another $1 and complains that I don't read his...
Alright, let's talk about the new TOS, for example, over there on Twitch. So apparently, I'm not sure if you guys know who this individual is, but a guy named Destiny was taken down recently. He's been banned. Now, I don't know if he's banned permanently or if he's only banned for like 30 days or whatever the case may be. He had made a comment that he shouldn't have made and he got hit. Now, if you guys know who Destiny is, he's been on Twitch for a while, and he's actually a very big streamer. He's very well known. He's well known amongst other big streamers. So for him to get hit comes as a bit of a surprise. And the reason why is I think a lot of people want to go ahead and refer back to the Amouranth situation. If you don't know who that is, L of the Day or Gundam, check out their videos, and they talk about the situation with that, which is fascinating, but not surprising. I think the situation with Destiny is he basically got tossed under the bus. You know what I'm saying? Twitch realizes, hey, we're sitting there protecting all of these female Thots, if that's what you want to call them, these female Thots, and we need someone to take a hit. He did something that would register, which falls under the guidelines and whatnot. So bam, he got hit. Now the thing is Destiny's a partner, just like Dave. He might be a different tier partner, but he's definitely a partner. So him getting slapped is a surprise. And there's news articles, there's online articles about it and all this, that, and the third. Now, he's not the only one to take a real hit, but he's notable. He's certainly somebody that people are looking at and being like, well, damn. For real? And this is all, the theory is it's all to cover an agenda. You've had two very large female streamers who have screwed up lately. One of them tried to go ahead and copyright strike PewDiePie because he called them Twitch slots. He wasn't wrong for that. The other one lied and said that she didn't have a boyfriend. Come to find out, she has a husband, and she used that stitch to give basically these guys online an opportunity, well, not even an opportunity, false hope that they could possibly date her. So much so, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, that one guy had donated something like $13,000 to her. Another guy donated like $8,000 or $9,000. It might have been almost $10,000. Somebody just a couple of days ago donated $33K to her. 33,000, 33 racks to this chick. And she's lying about her relationship status and whatnot. And so now she's trying to take a YouTube channel down because he basically brought it all to light. Then again, he wasn't the first person to get that information, and there are other people who've been talking about this for a while. It's just an absolutely kooky story. I'll put the link to those two videos in my description. Actually, there's more than two. I'll find those videos for you, and I'll put the links to my description. You guys can check it out and get your and you guys can kind of get filled in on it. It's bananas, absolutely nuts. But anyway, but I think this is important though also because with Destiny taking the hit, with some other big guys taking a hit, how long until Twitch is like, well, shit, what about Dave? Now I'm posing the theory that, I'm at least formulating the frame of thought that Dave still might not get hit because he's still small and he's insignificant. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. He's small and insignificant. He doesn't hold any. He's one of these guys on the internet who says stupid shit, and then he defends it for a little while, and then he backtracks. That's all he is. He doesn't have a big enough following to fight the fight for him, nor does he garner any real viewership anyway. And yet again, it's because of detractors that he's even relevant. If he had no detractors, he wouldn't be relevant. And somebody else would be, would definitely take over his spot and probably do better with it. So to be honest, I don't know if the way the TOS is set up now, or at least if Twitch is starting to implement it, is it going to affect Dave? I couldn't tell you with any real confidence, to be honest. I don't know if that's the case. I just think that he's small enough and he's insignificant enough that he can still fly under the radar for a little while until he does something really, really stupid, which he's bound to eventually, because he's so stressed out and he's starting to get riled up by his own fan base that I think he will do something dumb eventually. Just give him time. Dave never disappoints. DSP News.
Full questions, and he doesn't have an agenda, and herpaderpaderp, random ghost. You have to understand something, all right? When you attempt to get a shout out on a streamer's stream, what you should probably do is try to be part of a fun experience.
That's right. This is the United States of Phil. I am the supreme being. I make the rules, and what I say goes. This is not a place for you to stand on your soapbox and complain about censorship and freedom of speech, because the bottom line is you don't have freedom of speech. This is my land.
Say something that's interesting. Say something that's fun. Don't ask insulting questions that are accusatory of the streamer. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
Say something interesting, say something fun. Basically meaning, give me money, kiss my ass, and then keep it moving. That's funny, because Swaggins had been doing that the last couple of days with some big cheers, and you didn't say anything. And what I mean by big cheers, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about giving, he gave like $300 one day, and then he coughed up another $100 or $200 a couple of days later, and barely got a flicker from Phil. So that's where Swaggins is at now. And he's the biggest whale on the platform currently for him. And he can barely catch a look. So what exactly does he want? Oh, what he wants is, what he realizes is, well, I can't do much about Swaggins. Swaggins is going to give me money regardless, and people are going to shit on him for it, and that doesn't give me a lot of legitimacy. I need other people to step up and give me money so it looks like, as a collective, my fan base is supportive. That's what he needs, but he can't get that, and he knows it. So when someone prods him, if you want to call it that, he has to get upset. He has to get in the bitch mode. You know what I mean? He's got the pigskin, as he's starting to heat up, the pigskins are starting to crackle a little bit. And he's starting to get a little crunchy. A little bit salty, if you will. He's never going to learn. And if he does, he's going to learn the hard way.
Said it's very subjective what I read on my streams. Now, I can keep the stream in a nice positive vein and everyone's having fun and we keep the stream moving, or I can focus in on every negative, critical thing that everyone says about me, and then the entire stream just becomes drama. Which do you think I'm going to focus on?
The Phil Drama Show every day. I love it. I love it. I'm only here for the drama.
I mean, use your brain. This is not an opportunity for you to now be, you know, oh, let's rip Phil apart and let's dissect every little thing he does and he lives in the past and hurt, but there. What are you talking about? Like, literally, no one knows what you're talking about, yet you expect, like, I'm going to derail my entire stream to address your question. I am not. Your dollar tip, then, you know, you might as well just keep it. If that's what you're going to be doing, that's not the kind of crap we need. As I said clearly on the pre-stream rules, it's very subjective what I read on my streams, and I'm not going to hamper down the stream with this crap. Okay?
Why am I toxic? More toxic, over dramatic, drama queen toxic. Stop being a drama queen. This person did nothing.
Then why'd you even address it? Like, what was the point of that? He got exactly what he wanted out of Dave. You gave him light, you went on a miniature rant, and at the end of the day, he got his dollar's worth of entertainment. And you said, oh, well, if you're going to just produce negative stuff like this, then just go ahead and take your dollar back. But at the end of the day, he got that and more. Why didn't you just ignore his comment? You can't. It's the same reason why you look at the chat. The frame of mind or the thought process is he's looking for cheers. But in truth, he's trying to find the negative comments about him. He can't go without it. If you've ever seen, and this is rare, that you ever see a DSP stream where there isn't really any, I wouldn't say negativity, but there isn't any pushback from the fan base, he's bored. He's bored as shit. He needs the negativity because it gives him something to do. And he knows it. So why are you shitting on this guy when he provided you exactly what you wanted? And he got exactly what he wanted. It's a symbiotic type of relationship. Whatever.
All they did was create kiddie drama for little kids and you bought into it. You know what I mean? You are a content creator that literally only does videos for drama purposes, for hype purposes, fluff. Everything you do is fluff, right? You don't actually perform any skillful kind of thing in anything that you do. I'm sorry, that is just not, in my opinion, something quality that I would want to watch. I would never just watch a fluff drama video. That's garbage to me. That's just like watching reality TV, the fucking Kardashians, right? I'd much rather watch informative, intelligent content. Real talk. You got people who just cannot stay out of the drama, all right? And this is real talk. There's people who just can't stay out of the fucking drama. Pathetic excuse for a content creator if all you do is make drama content or you have to call people out who literally have nothing to do with you just to get drama views. You're a shill, you're a hack, you're a waste of everyone's fucking time, and way to show that you are a relic who is not pertinent anymore because you have to make drama content.
Here, let me pose this theory to you guys for just a second. I think honestly Phil should just go into IRL streaming, not actually walking around or doing anything like that. I think he should just sit on his couch, turn his camera on, and maybe just have something like rolling in the background and just talk. I think that's all he should do. Forget the games, forget any of the extra bullshit. Just do Ask the King all day, every day. Have people send you questions. Here, I'll even set the scenario for you, even though I just thought of it. $5, people get to ask you $5, people get to ask you one question, short and sweet. $10, they get to ask you a much more drawn out question, something with a little bit more detail. And since they paid you, you have to answer it. Let's cut that $20 tier out because that's bullshit anyway. And just sit there all day, read out questions that people paid you to answer, and just take questions off stream, off the chats, the cheers, and all that, and make all of that subscriber only. And just do that because he's already talking about putting some of his content behind a paywall anyway. He should just do that. Quit the games because 1, you're not a gamer. 2, you don't like it because you've turned it into a job. and it's obvious that you don't like it, you want to just talk shit all day. That's all Phil really wants to do. He wants to sit down, he wants to express his opinion, and he doesn't want any blowback. But if you give him money, that softens that blow a little bit. He should just do that. Just do that all day. Sit there on your ass, talk shit, and he can't really, and don't say nothing back because you got paid to do it. It is what it was. That's what he should do. I think he uses games as window dressing. Being like, oh, I'm a gamer, you know what I'm saying? I really love games, and that's why I'm passionate about the bullshit. Yeah. Save all that bullshit. Just do that. Just sit there, accept donations, answer questions. Or talk about whatever's going on Twitter or on whatever gaming news site he goes to, or whatever the case may be. Just do that. To be honest. You're wasting nobody's time but your own. And it's very obvious. And it's very obvious that you don't like what you do anymore. If you ever really did. There's too much hate on you anyway. You might as well try to profit off it if you can. Just a piece of advice.
Okay. I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct. That was my depression.
Third Eye the Third cheered. He says, I'm sick and tired of living in the past jokes. Literally everyone lives in the past because if you forget your past, you'll repeat old mistakes. Real talk. That's true. You know, there's a difference. There's a big difference between someone who's stuck in the past and someone who likes to every once in a while reminisce on the past and learn about it. So for example, right, every once in a while I'll say, you know, I have a lot of experience with fighting games over the years. At one point I was a professional player where I was out and I was performing in tournaments and I had placings and the like.
What?
You weren't a professional player. Like, what are you talking about? Like, he was never a professional player. You know what I mean? Not even close, okay? Because a professional player is usually sponsored. It is what it is. I don't even know if you could even consider him a pro fighting game player back in those days. They didn't have pro fighting game players back in those days. You just had guys who went to tournaments and played. You know what I mean? If you wanted to consider him a pro, then he would have actually had to win some tournaments. I'm sorry, but he would have had to win some actual tournaments. You know what I mean? But nobody were pros back then. It was the guys who were going to tournaments consistently and may have been doing well because they had the time and the resources to do it. That doesn't necessarily make you a pro. That's all I have to say.
What? What? You guys may be living in the future. I'm in the past, baby.
But you notice I don't bring that up every single day. It's not something that I put into, welcome everyone to the stream of the guy who placed 4th at EVO in 2005. You know, I'm not doing that shit. That's stupid.
That's 100% a lie.
And it's not that big of a deal. In fact, I barely mention it. It's usually the people who are so butthurt that I have achievements in my life that bring that shit up all the time because they can't deal with the fact that at one point I was actually good at fighting games, right?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Let's talk about those achievements, ladies and gentlemen. So, according to Dave Lore, took 4th place at EVO 2005 in a game port that meant nothing to nobody and was universally shunned before the tournament even happened. You know what I mean? Like, when people talk about this particular port, there's all kinds of inconsistencies. Not just about different characters' power gauges and whatnot, or life bars, but also properties of moves, inconsistencies with stun, all kinds of problems. Just all kinds of ridiculous problems. Okay? Phil knew that. Phil knew that there were these different issues with the game, and that's why he grinded it so hard. His words, not mine. That's why he grinded it so hard, because he also knew, because he was on SRK at the time, that a lot of people were boycotting the game. A lot of people weren't going to play it. And the guys who did thought it was going to be free money or easy money. So he knew exactly what he was doing when that whole situation played off. That's why he grinded the game so hard. And he took 4th for it. Good for him. So let's go ahead and speak on that. He says he's won a bunch of different locals, and he had traveled around and won some EVO qualifiers. That's hit or miss, at least from what people have found. Some people can verify some of it, can't verify all of it. You can give that to him regardless. When it comes to fighting games in general, especially when he plays, and he bashes other players because they use cheap tactics, they use cheap lag tactics, they do this, they do that. He doesn't understand what he's doing. Oh, he didn't mean to do this. He really wanted for that. What does he always go to when he says that? I've been playing this game for so long. I've placed at tournaments. You know what I mean? I've taken such and such spot at Evo. I beat this particular player. I know what this guy was thinking before he even thought it, because guess what? I've been playing this game for so long. I'm just saying. There's your evidence right there. If not, you can go ahead and research the rest of it. It is what it is. So he can sit there and get butthurt about it all he wants. He's the one who keeps bringing it up. Like he said, it's one of the few things he can really hang his hat on. And when people tore him down for it all those years ago, he's trying to fight it just like he does now. He tried to fight it for everything it was worth back then. Oh, all those guys were butthurt because they didn't enter the tournament or whatnot, and everybody who did place deserves a little bit of respect. But then if you go by the lore, after he won that tournament, they apparently had a tournament upstairs in one of the hotel rooms. They invited him up, and they were like, hey, Mr. Fourth Place Finish, it's time to put this work in. And I don't know if there's any footage of it out there, but according to lore, he got his ass handed to him. And then he comes back with the excuse, oh, well, I was playing in a tournament all day, and I was tired. You know what I mean? I was tired. I don't know what they were expecting out of me. I mean, keep throwing up all the excuses all you want, man. I'm just saying. If you're the #1 ranked Super Turbo player in the world, American Super Turbo player, I'm sorry. Hey, man, they actually had a real copy of the actual game. They asked you to play, and you couldn't hang. So, whose fault is what? And yet again, who's really living in the past? Just saying. DSP News.
What was that? That was the messiest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. What the fuck? Oh my god. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
But there's a difference between someone who is constantly harping on the past, or
someone who moves on positively with the future, but always remembers things from the past. So absolutely right, as you're saying. I guess I'm not that smart. Man, I'm stupid.
So you can learn from it and not make the same mistakes, and so you can celebrate it. You know, this is my 10th anniversary as a content creator on the internet, and in 10 years, so much has changed.
10 years making gameplay videos on YouTube. Laziness.
About being...
But that's 10 years that only means something to him and nobody else. That's the only reason why he wants to celebrate it. He thinks other people will care. But most of the people who would are detractors now, or they've just moved on altogether. Most of the people who support Phil now don't even know all the lore. They just know that he gets hated on, and they're like, well, hell, I want to get in on this. And then there you go. That's really what his fan base, at least a portion of his fan base, is really made up of. Anyway.
A YouTuber about being,
pig roach.
You know, all kinds of stuff when it comes to being a content creator on the internet. And, you know, doing a special 10th anniversary event where we could go back and reminisce on some of the weirdest, funniest stuff. I mean, I guarantee you, watching some of my stuff back that I've never watched back before, my reactions would be pretty, you know, wow, I said that, or whoa, this is so different from what I do today, or whatever, you know, it'd be interesting to see. But does that mean that every day I'm going to say, oh, the yesteryear YouTube was so good and this and that, and I used to be this and that? No, we move forward, we have fun, right? We're here, we're playing new games every day, we're celebrating, we're having fun, we're having a good time.
Give me your money.
That's what streaming's all about.
And here we go again. Random Ghost tipped me another $1 just to say that I'm toxic. Yes, you see, Random Ghost, you tipped $3 today on stream to be negative when no one else was being, and to bring up negative shit and basically not even do a valid criticism because you didn't even address what you were talking about.
So yet again, why are you giving him light? He paid you $3 to prove a point, basically. And you're proving it for him. You could have just ignored it. You could have just said what you normally do. Oh, another troll comment. Thanks for the $1, though. He's done that before. But no, for some reason, you have to get this person in particular. You have to try to make an example out of him. And in doing so, you're just proving his point. There's no way that someone is this incoherent about his situation. And this happens to him every day, ladies and gentlemen. Every day there is somebody who prods him like this, and he still hasn't figured it out yet. He's so scared to give Almighty Tevin or somebody else any shine to say their name, rarely, unless he says it in the chat. But he's dead set against calling somebody's name out. But he'll allow shit like this to happen. And think he's doing well by himself by doing it. Silly. Just absolutely silly.
About, dwelling on the past. And now you're toxic. No, you are. You are the toxic person, and they are the kind of person that, sadly, I need to weed out of my streams. You're not going to change my opinion. I did nothing wrong. I did everything correct. That's just fucked in the head, dude. That's not normal mental behavior. You mean I have to change my behavior? Back in high school, I was on a cocktail of medications. I mean, real talk, when I was in high school at one point, I was to the point where I was losing it. I wanted to either go do something drastic or, go nuts. There was a girl who I was obsessed with for a while. You think I'm the villain?
Now, here's the funny part about that, or the interesting part about that, because I don't think I've gone over that video yet. So, you were on a cocktail of drugs. You were probably thinking about Xing yourself out at one time or another, and you were insanely upset about some chick. And yet you throw out mentally ill and all these people who are losing their minds and shit all the fucking time. Which goes back to this theory that I'd been posing that, well, it's not my theory. It's something that's widely known that people who talk about mental illness usually suffer it themselves. Usually. And so look at you, Dave. You fall right into that category. And that shit followed you. It's evolved with you in a lot of ways. Like somewhere down the line in the evolutionary scope, you devolved a little bit, but your mental illness, if you want to call it that, evolved. And it kind of just merged with your ego and your arrogance, and it just became just kind of one thing. And that's why you're trying to profit off of it. Or at least that's why he was trying to profit off of it. Because why not? He's profited off of everything else. So, I'm really surprised that he actually said that. I would have thought he'd be smart enough to leave stuff like that out. Because it was just going to come back and bite him. But, I guess he's not that smart.
Go fuck yourself so we don't have this kind of crap on it anymore. Because no one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear your crap. Everyone wants to be here and have fun. Me too. I want to be positive and have fun. I don't want to sit here and have people being negative. So, there you go. I just want to play games and have fun and make a living doing it. Well, holy crap, ladies and gentlemen, I just received a 10,000 bit cheer. Are you a functional retard? I have to ask. From the Lord Lamb V3.
One final cheer from Johnny Soros. He says, do you think you would have went undefeated as a lawyer? I don't think anyone does. Like, the thing is in life, and I've certainly learned this over the years, okay, is...
In order to be a good winner, you have to know how to be a good loser. Oh my god!
What the fuck? Whoa! Whoa!
What? What? I'm hypocritical. 100% hypocritical. Very, very, very hypocritical. Pretty hypocritical, I agree.
And you never learn anything and get better by winning constantly.
It's the true, I actually was just talking with Kat about this the other day. When you see the true nature of a person is how they react when they're down or when they fail, not when they succeed. This guy fucking sucks my dick. You suck my dick. You suck my dick. Fuck you. Give me your money. Let the green roll in. Let the money roll in. Money, 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 money. Money, money, money. That I gotta spend. Plugs, plugs, plugs. Help me. Money, money, money. Money, 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 money. Quick buck. Minimum effort, minimum money and time involved, maximum profit. Milk that fucking gravy train for as much money as you possibly can. Milk and honey, I like to say. I want more money on top of the money that I already made. We need more money. That's what this stream is about. Like, my God, please, you gotta tip me because I have no money. The money is mine, and I want the money. I need to raise a lot of money this month. I really need the money to keep this house. I need that money to pay my bills. I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills. I may be living month to month.
And the thing is as of late, he's picked up that trend. Because now he's saying, well, you know, right now, guys, I got a bunch of bills clearing, and I really need your help. I really need the money right now to kind of pull me out of this spot. I got all this back taxes. I've got this, that, and the third. There's a Snort Burnell video that'll be coming up soon that I haven't gone over yet, where he talks about that briefly, about all the money that he owes and all the stuff that he needs to do. So, as I had said in previous videos, he came full circle. We're right at where we were this time last year, where it's almost high octane begging, and it's starting to rev up. It's starting to rev up. A couple months ago, I don't really, I need the money because I have my taxes and everything, but other than that, I'm okay, man. I'm making all the money I need to cover all my bills. A few months later, okay, guys, I got all these bills clearing, and I still got all this back taxes going on, and I got this, that, and the third, and I really need your help, man. I really need your help. Where are we at now? We're in July. It's July what? It's July 5th currently. He's really starting it all up. He's starting the ball up to be like, hey, I need you guys to really come through and help me out. By September, it'll be full blown. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
On paycheck to paycheck, begging for fucking tips and shit on stream for the rest of my life.
If not sooner.
One of the worst e-beggars. When someone fails and they're facing adversity, then the real person comes out. And that's how you determine the real mettle of someone, right? And who they really are. Because if you go coast through life as I win everything I do, everything else successful, everywhere I go, I never face adversity, then, you never were challenged. You never really had a chance to persevere. You didn't persevere at all. It was just win, 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 positive, positive, positive. It's when negatives get thrown your way, when losses get thrown your way, that you really become something better. So, honestly...
But what do you know about that when all you want is positivity? When he's winning at a game, it's all gravy. I knew exactly what he was going to do. You know what I mean? Or it was a good match on his part when he's winning. It's very, very rare when he loses that he actually gives the other guy props. And then, even if he does, he'll throw an excuse like, well, I was pressing this button, it didn't come out. Like something that S. Julius Cruz pointed out recently. Well, he's been pointing it out for a while now. If you go back and watch some of his videos about Phil on Street Fighter, right? He'll sit there and say, oh, I was putting the motion in for my super, and my super didn't come out. If you actually go down to the bottom and look, there was no super. He didn't have enough in the bar to make anything happen. So, are you not paying attention to what's going on? And as it pertains to positivity, that's all he wants. He doesn't want any negative attention. He doesn't want any feedback, period, because he automatically assumes and associates feedback with, oh, you're trying to critique me. It's negative. That's how he looks at it from the hop. He can't just take what somebody says, let it process, and be like, you know what? You have a point. Because in almost every negative comment, there is something that can be drawn from it. And it's just something he never learned for whatever reason. Absolutely insane. Hug box mentality.
If I were a lawyer, I wouldn't want to win every case. I would want to lose cases to know what I did wrong and to basically, to become a better at what I do. So there you go. There's no way you could just lie.
And why would you ask him to become a lawyer? He could barely defend himself. You really think he could defend someone else who has their life on the line? He can't even defend his public image. You know what I mean? He can't even defend aspects of his life. This guy, if he's a lawyer, this guy's going to go to jail for 20 plus years. Why would... Oh boy, it's a good thing he didn't become a lawyer. That's a real good thing. Jesus Christ, that's scary.
Lie, and never have a fact behind it and expect this story to hold. silver-tongued talker, right? Oh, I'm just going to say it one way, and hopefully you'll believe it, even though that's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better. You are a liar, and you are a fucking bold-faced, dirty liar. Hardy Buck just cheered. He said he loved the penne reference in The Simpsons yesterday. I never laughed so hard. Dude, that's totally broke the fourth wall. What the fuck? What were the chances that in a Simpsons video game they would reference penne and pasta? It was so weird. It's just so out of place. Like, why would they even be in the game? What's up?
Penne is my favorite pasta shape.
What? 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 What the hell? Oh, this game was made when? I'm getting out of here. I can't. I'm out of here. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm out. I'm out. That just creeped me the hell out, dude. It's like a.
You see how hard he tried to. He tried to turn that penne meme and tried to twist it and make it benefit him, and he took it into a direction that it just didn't need to go. Like, you completely fucked that up, Dave. I don't even have a joke for that. That was just. It just goes to show that he lacks creativity. It just shows that he lacks a lot of things, but he certainly lacks creativity, a sense of humor. He lacks a lot of things. You said how wrong it sounds, but yet you're laughing at it. You're implying that I don't even know how old Lisa is. I have no idea how old Lisa is. But you took something relatively innocent that any child would say, and you flipped it into some type of alleged Pizzagate type shit. Goddamn idiot, Phil. You're a goddamn idiot. You just stay failing. And he doesn't understand why. He really doesn't. Because he doesn't leave his house. He doesn't really interact with anybody. If you want to call the human android, which is Cat, that doesn't count. Everybody that he knows is pretty much online. And that doesn't help you. Because most of the people who he thinks he knows, he doesn't. This is what it's like to be a shut-in. This is damn near cabin fever, if you think about it. The very thing that he cherishes the most, which is that house, is slowly killing him. And it's always mentally first, and then it's physically. Whatever. His success is his success, I guess.
5-year-old kid, you know. Toxic Toilet Juice. Oh boy, he's back. Toxic Toilet Juice. Just cheered and said, looking forward to the Red Faction playthrough. And shout out to Jose Cuervo. Shout out to Jose Cuervo 527 who subscribed to the channel. Thank you, Jose Cuervo, for the sub. Well, there you go. Apparently he really, really likes the Cuervo. No A3 bug. I don't see a quote with my face on it on Twitter. I don't pay attention to that shit. More than likely it's some asshole, some detractor or something, I would assume, or else, you know, I would be able to see it because that's the thing. If I don't see it, it probably means it's someone who's already blocked. So, no, I have not seen this ridiculousness.
Jose Cuervo says, for one of your goals, you should go hiking with Cat on your day off and stream it. It would be a nice surprise. There are a lot of nice places out here to hike, like a lot of nice trails, a lot of nice nature walks. We haven't done anything like that yet.
I don't have time to exercise. Real talk. Toxic Toilet Juice cheers says, we both have sedentary jobs. Do you do special exercises or stretch to balance that out? What I do is I take breaks, as you know.
He was the guy that got caught masturbating in front of children.
It's the guy.
That's not exercise. Oh, he doesn't exercise. He doesn't. We'll just leave it at that. Not at all. The only thing he exercises is his mouth. That's it.
Watching his Twitch. Is that really him? Is he the one that got caught, Matt?
Yes. Really? What is up, everyone? Hello, and welcome. Oh, the camera's on.
Cue the Seinfeld.
You know, when I do my streams, first of all, in the morning, I walk around for at least 15 to 20 minutes around the house before I even sit down to do my streams on purpose. In order to
the wild Dave in his natural habitat. That's amazing. Oh shit. Oh my god. Now if there's just a little cat walking along the side, it'd be perfect.
be able to get the circulation in my body. Then when we do pre-stream, you know, sometimes I move around a little more. Some people say, oh, I hear Phil moving around on the pre-stream. Like right now. Around as I sit here. I'm not sitting still. I'm moving a little bit before I become totally sedentary. And then on my streams, I take a break to walk around the house. During my breaks, I don't just sit here. I usually grab my phone and go use the restroom, but then I walk around the house. If Kat's here, I talk with her. You know, I do all kinds of stuff to keep my body moving. I don't just sit here for 4.5 hours, 5 hours straight without moving. That would be terrible for your body. Do I do extra special exercises set up just for this? No, but I do move around a lot. So, you know, I'm a simple guy. I'm a gamer. Press record, play a game, and have fun. Right?
Yeah, I'm a gamer!
Help! Save the pig! What the heck? A pig with a party hat. Hello, Mr. Piggy. Sticky piggy. Save the pig, the game. The whole game you're trying to save the pig's life. Help!
This is penne.
What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy.
Well, there you go. Oh boy, what do you say to something like that? In any case, we got to see Dave in his natural habitat, so we got a little bit of National Geographic there. That was kind of cool. And Phil's past is his past when he mentions it, and for everybody else, we're kind of just obsessed no-lives who dwell on every little thing he says. He never says anything wrong. It's just us taking it out of context. You know what I mean? No one ever hated him until the first detractor came along and whatnot. Everybody thought it was just offhanded jokes. Everybody knew it was offhanded humor, and it was meant to be funny. And you guys, I should say, turned everybody against him and made everybody fucking hate him. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network of Productions. I'm your host / anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. End of broadcast. Oh boy. I move around, so I'm okay. No, I don't do exercises. And how he deflected that whole, why don't you go walking with Kat? Oh yeah, we have a lot of great places out here to go walking, but yeah, but when I'm at home though, I move around a little bit. That's so weak. So fucking weak.